Hi everyone, and welcome to English for You. I'm Erin.
And I'm Mike.
And today we are talking about convenience stores.
Well, convenience stores. If you know what a convenience store is, you probably live in Taiwan. I think I read somewhere that Taiwan has more convenience stores per person than anywhere else in the world. Have you heard that before?
I haven't.
Okay, I think that's true. But you know what? As much as we might laugh about how many there are, I go to one 2 or 3 times a day.
So do I.
Yeah. And if they disappeared all of a sudden overnight, what would we do? The whole country would stop.
I think so.
In many ways.
A lot of things would have to be figured out. We'd have to figure out how to pay our bills, how to get traffic tickets paid for, buy tickets for concerts.
There would be lines in front of every coffee shop in the city or in the country as people found another place to buy coffee and all those other little things.
Well, as silly as we seem to make it sound, they are really important.
They're super important.
All right, let's find out more about convenience stores in today's article. Let's get started.
Reading.
The convenience of convenience stores. Jackson sees Ian inside of a local convenience store.
Hi, Ian. I'm surprised to see you here under the circumstances. I thought you have a big test tomorrow.
I do. I'm just taking a study break. My mother asked me to do several things for her.
Oh, really? Like what?
She wanted me to pay some bills, buy some pickles and dairy products, and pick up a parcel.
Now I see why you came here. At convenience stores, you can buy or do just about anything.
Right. Plus, we are surrounded by convenience stores in Taiwan. You never have to travel far to reach one.
So, have you finished everything you needed to get done?
I have. Except for one thing. I need to choose something for dinner. Do you have any ideas about what I should buy?
No, I'm not familiar with the dinners here because I usually cook at home.
Maybe I can ask the clerk. She probably knows this store like the back of her hand.
Ian goes to speak with the cashier.
All right, our article today starts out with a scenario and it says Jackson sees Ian inside of a local convenience store. Okay, so we see the noun convenience here, and convenience is the quality that something has when it saves you time or makes life easier for you in some way. Now, convenience stores are a lot smaller than bigger department stores or supermarkets, which means there can be a lot more of them. Now, you can also buy a lot of the same things that you would find in those bigger stores, but without having to travel to get there, wait in long lines, see a lot of people. And plus in Taiwan, you can do a lot of really convenient things here. Now, that's the adjective form, C-O-N-V-E-N-I-E-N-T, convenient. And we're going to find out more about that later, more about these convenient things we can do.
Absolutely.
Here's an example sentence. Credit cards provide a lot of convenience if you want to buy something expensive.
That's right. You don't have to carry all that money out. Just pull out your credit card and you can buy something big and expensive. You have to pay for it later, though. So credit cards are convenient, and stores that are convenient we, of course, call convenience stores. So let's check out what's happening in the convenience store as we get into the dialogue. Jackson is the first person to speak, and he says, "Hi, Ian." And then he says, "I'm surprised to see you here under the circumstances." Interesting. He's kind of saying that, you know, it's nice to see you, but it's a surprise. I didn't expect to see you here. Why? Well, under the circumstances. This tells us that something kind of important is going on. You know, if someone was getting married tomorrow and you saw them at the convenience store, you would think, You should be getting ready for your wedding. These are big circumstances. These are very important situations. What is Ian's circumstance? Well, Jackson's surprised because he says, I thought you have a big test tomorrow. So he would expect Ian to be getting ready for his big test, not shopping at the convenience store. That's a little surprising. All right, yes, we have this word circumstance. Now, a circumstance, as I mentioned, is kind of like a special situation, something that's happening in your life right now that's a little bit strange or a little bit unusual or special. We often put an S on this because generally there's a few different things that are making this time of your life special or important or maybe difficult too. These are strange or unusual circumstances, all right? So we can talk about this in lots of different ways. If you're doing something important tomorrow, if you're unable to do something today that you normally do, these would be strange circumstances. After a typhoon, there's often some strange circumstances. We can't go to the store, or supermarkets have no vegetables, or maybe your school is canceled. That is not normal. Those are special circumstances. Your school will reopen in the next day or two, for sure. So we talk about circumstances as being situations, events, things that are happening that are unusual, strange, or special in some kind of way. For example, we want to leave at 7:30 a.m., but if the circumstances change, we might have to leave later. So if you leave later, the different circumstances might be someone got up late, or they were late arriving, or you have to do something important. Those would be different circumstances. All right, back to the dialogue.
Okay, well, you know, Jackson has said, I thought under the circumstances you wouldn't be out.
That's a special situation, studying for a test.
Right, and Ian says, well, I do. I do have special circumstances.
Okay.
I'm just taking a study break. My mother asked me to do several things for her. So just taking a little break from the books, get a fresh mind.
There you go.
Go to the convenience store. It doesn't take long. Maybe get a snack, something like that.
If you run to the store very quickly, or your mom or someone asks you, we often call that I'm on an errand, E-R-R-A-N-D. Just a quick trip that you need to do to take care of some simple business. Oh, really? Jackson says. Oh, really? That's surprising. That's interesting to hear. And then he asks, like what? Like what kind of thing did your mother want you to do?
Okay, well, here's where we get into the convenience of the convenience store.
Why he's there. So why is he there?
Well, Ian says she wanted me to pay some bills, buy some pickles and dairy products, and pick up a parcel.
Those are some interesting things to do, but yes, all things that you could do at a convenience store. Pay some bills, buy some food, and pick up a parcel.
Right.
But I'm not sure I've ever seen pickles in a convenience store.
Maybe not the ones that we know in North America.
True.
But there are plenty of pickles here in Taiwan.
Like the ones you put on noodles or something, right?
All right, so this noun, pickle, is any type of food that has been preserved or kept in vinegar. Now, vinegar is a very sour liquid that is often used to help food last longer or clean. Now, in the US and Canada, we often do this with cucumbers, which are long green vegetables. And once we put the cucumbers in the vinegar, they become a lot smaller, and we call them pickles. Now, you can do this with any other kind of vegetable too, and this is especially popular in Korea.
Oh, kimchi.
So all of these foods are called pickles too.
Right, they might come in different shapes and sizes, different flavors, but generally you're taking a fresh vegetable, putting it in vinegar or salt water, and that actually we use that as a verb. It pickles the fruit or vegetable, and it makes it last longer and gives it a kind of swan sour taste.
Makes it healthy for you too.
I like pickles.
Here's an example sentence. Dieter put ketchup, mustard, and small slices of pickles on his hamburger.
That's what you'd find. All right, so he was going to buy some pickles, and also he mentioned that he wanted to buy some dairy products. Okay, products are just generally things you buy in a store. Almost anything that you could buy could be called a product, but here we're talking about food, so we use this adjective dairy to really talk exactly about what kind of food. Dairy is an adjective we use to talk about anything that is made from milk.
That's right.
So dairy products would be anything that is made from the milk from a cow generally, but we could also talk about dairy products as being from sheep or goats, right?
Camels
Goat
even?
cheese, camel cheese possibly. But generally, of course, we're talking about milk, butter, cheese, ice cream, yogurt. All of those things would be included in dairy products. For example, we could say France is famous for its many delicious dairy products, mainly cheese, but cream and butter and all sorts of other good stuff.
That's right. Okay, so when he was talking, Ian said he needs to pick these things up or pick up a parcel. Now, we're not talking about this kind of pick up, but that is one thing it can mean. Here, pick something up means it means to collect something from a certain place. So you're going to a certain place to get something. Now, it can also mean to get something or buy something from a shop. Like, can you pick up some milk and butter at the supermarket on your way home?
I can.
Now, the phrase pick something up can also mean to just lift something up with your hands, like you showed us earlier, or to get someone from a certain place with your car. Like, can you pick Amy up at the train station?
So I'm not buying Amy from the train station. I'm not going to lift Amy and carry her home.
No.
I'm probably driving there in my car, on my motorcycle, to collect her and bring her home.
That's right. All right, let's look at one more example sentence. Jerry stopped by to pick up his books.
Oh, maybe he lent them to you, you borrowed them, he's collecting them to take them home. And yes, what was Ian there to pick up? Remember, it was a parcel. That's what he was picking up. A parcel, this is a noun. Basically, a parcel is similar to a package. It's something that you wrap up with paper or put in a box, and then you send it by mail or courier or by post or something like that. If it's your birthday, for example, in the days before, you might get some parcels in the mail sent by your grandma who lives in another city or friends who live far away. These parcels, these packages are things that you would get at the post office, or they might bring them to your house and leave them by your door or something like that. Now, it's not a letter, it's not just a piece of paper in an envelope, it's a slightly larger thing that is a box, package, parcel, something like that. For example, the mail carrier rang the doorbell and then left the parcel by the front door.
Lots of fun things and convenient things to do there, obviously.
You can take care of all of this at one place in what, like 5 minutes? You're done.
And that's just the beginning of what you can do.
It's very convenient.
All right, so Jackson says, well, now I see why you came here. At convenience stores, you can buy or do just about anything.
Absolutely. You can buy things, pick up packages, pay bills, and so much more. And of course, Ian, who's there doing all of these things, he agrees with Jackson. He says, right, I agree. Plus, he adds, we are surrounded by convenience stores in Taiwan. Yes, that doesn't mean they're actually all around us on every single side. It just means there's a lot of them. You don't have to go far to find one. So it's like they're everywhere. Maybe not everywhere, but there are a lot. So we're surrounded by them. You never have to travel far to reach one. I think from my apartment, I could walk for 2 minutes and probably get to about 4 different convenience stores.
I have a 1-minute walk to 2 different convenience stores.
Wow, you live even closer than me. Amazing.
All right, so like Mike said, surrounded by here is not just like all around, but just very many of them. So it seems like everywhere you go, you're going to see one.
That's it.
All right, so Jackson says, so have you finished everything you needed to get done?
All right. Have you taken care of all of your chores, your errands, your little jobs? And Ian says, I have, except for one thing. So he's paid the bills, he's picked up the pickles, he's got the package, but there is one more thing on his list that he needs to do.
What is it?
He says, I need to choose something for dinner.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
of course. You can't live on pickles and dairy products.
No.
That would be weird. Anyway, so he wants to buy some food for dinner or choose something for dinner. And then he asks Jackson, do you have any ideas about what I should buy? Because there are some people who eat at those convenience stores a lot.
Quite a bit, yeah.
And they often do say, oh, I would have the chicken, but, you know, don't have that or sort of thing. So they can give you a good recommendation.
Well, let's see if Jackson is one of those people. Jackson actually says, no, I'm not familiar with the dinners here because I usually cook at home. Okay, so that is, of course, something else that people do.
Sure.
And he says he's not familiar with the dinners there. So familiar is an adjective, and we use this adjective to describe something that you already know a lot about because you have done this thing, used this thing, had this thing in the past, or you know a lot about it before, or something is familiar. Familiar is also something that you can recognize easily because you've seen it before.
It's not strange or new or unusual.
Right. So I know that McDonald's is a familiar restaurant because I've seen that big yellow M sign lots of different places around the world in my life. So I would say I'm familiar with that. Here's another sentence. I'm not familiar with this game. Can you explain the rules?
Oh, I've never seen it before, never played it before,
What
just
do I
learned
do?
about it. So yeah, if you're not familiar with something, it's good to have someone there who is, because then they can explain it and teach you and help you understand it better. Anyway, so back to the dialogue. Well, Jackson can't really recommend any of the food. He's not familiar with them. Ian, I guess, is not either. So then Ian says, maybe I can ask the clerk, the person who works in the convenience store. And then he says she probably knows this store like the back of her hand. She knows the store like the back of her hand. So the store has like skin and little hairs on it.
Maybe she has the store drawn on her hand.
Tattoo of the store on her hand. Well,
You know, I don't think either of these are right.
I'm not sure we know this phrase like the back of our hand, so
Right.
maybe it's time to go to our Pocket Phrase Go, where they will explain all the mysteries of the universe.
Excellent.
Pocket Phrase Go!
大家好，变大变小难不倒我，我就是 Ant-Man 蚁人。别看我这样，当蚁人这段期间呢，我在实验室里耳濡目染，什么物理学，我可是一把照好吗？I know science like the back of my hand。什么原子、分子、中子还是皮姆粒子，都难不倒我的啦。哎，你记不记得那首歌？你掌心的痣，我总记得在哪里。手心手背每天都在看，哪里有痣哪里脱皮，怎么会不晓得呢？所以呢，当我们说一个人呢 know something like the back of one's hand， 就表示呢对这个事情了若指掌了。像我本人呢，从小就在这个区域长大了。I know this area like the back of my hand。这个用法你学起来了吗？
All right, so she knows the store like the back of her hand, or the products.
Does she know that store really, really well.
Yeah, that's what we're saying there. She just knows everything there really well. So Ian, he goes to speak with the cashier. Now before we said clerk, and we know that clerk and cashier are usually pretty similar.
They are similar, especially in a smaller store,
Right.
like a 7-Eleven
Exactly.
or another convenience store.
All right, so what is a cashier? A cashier is a person who receives money from people who are buying something. Now, before you leave a store with the things you want to buy, you have to visit the cashier to give that person your money and get your change back. Only then can you leave.
There you go. But of course, in a bigger store, we often have people who are just cashiers. They take the money,
Right.
handle that, and then the clerks would be the people working inside the store.
They walk around.
They walk around, they put things on the shelf, keep the store clean and tidy, and they're great because they often know where everything in the store is. So in a bigger store, we might have two separate jobs, but in a smaller kind of convenience store, often the clerk and the cashier, they do all of that stuff at the same time.
That's right. All right. Well, we are not finished with Ian's trip to the convenience store yet. We will be back to tell you more about that story tomorrow. But for now, let's finish off with today's For You chat.
For You chat.
All right, welcome back to For You Chat. Our question today is, what other kinds of things can you do at a convenience store?
There are probably quite a few things that I don't even know about.
I know there are a lot that I don't know about.
Because there are lots of things that they introduce. But I think one of the things I'm always kind of amazed and impressed by is buying tickets. You can get your train tickets and concert tickets and special, art gallery showing tickets, all that kind of stuff. I heard that soon they might even have plane tickets there. You can buy your airplane ticket for your holiday, your train ticket to get to the airport, and the rock show ticket for the night after you leave, the night before you leave. Anyways, all those different tickets from those little machines. That's pretty amazing.
One thing that I've done before is I've used the photocopier quite a bit.
Yes, that's right. Faxing and photocopying.
Yep, scanning. If you need to put something into the computer on the USB, you can print photos there.
That's right. I don't have a printer at home, so that's another useful thing.
That's a good one. Yeah, I've done a lot of ticket things there as well. I think you can pay fines there, like if you get a parking ticket, stuff like that. Now, I'm pretty sure there are a lot more things that you can do at 7-Eleven. We probably just don't know about them.
Absolutely.
So you guys will have a lot more things to talk about than we will. So have a chat with yourselves and come back tomorrow and see us then. Bye-bye.
Take care.
The convenience of convenience stores. Jackson sees Ian inside of a local convenience store.
Hi, Ian. I'm surprised to see you here under the circumstances. I thought you have a big test tomorrow.
I do. I'm just taking a study break. My mother asked me to do several things for her.
Oh, really? Like what?
She wanted me to pay some bills, buy some pickles and dairy products, and pick up a parcel.
Now I see why you came here. At convenience stores, you can buy or do just about anything.
Right. Plus, we are surrounded by convenience stores in Taiwan. You never have to travel far to reach one.
So, have you finished everything you needed to get done?
I have. Except for one thing. I need to choose something for dinner. Do you have any ideas about what I should buy?
No, I'm not familiar with the dinners here because I usually cook at home.
Maybe I can ask the clerk. She probably knows this store like the back of her hand.
Ian goes to speak with the cashier.
Vocabulary Review.
Convenience. Many people like the convenience of public transportation. They also think it can save energy and money. Circumstance. Normally, I would use an online map, but under these circumstances, with no Wi-Fi, I will ask someone for directions. Pickle. Instead of eating fresh vegetables, Lisa ate cold pickles from a jar. Dairy. Some people don't eat meat, but others won't eat anything that comes from an animal, such as dairy products. Parcel. That thing looks too large to fit in an envelope. If you want to mail it, you should send it in a parcel. Familiar. I don't know how to use YouTube or Instagram because I'm not familiar with the internet.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。 如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net